is up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of the Signal Callers DFS Show. Today is October 11th. We're going to take a stab at breaking down week 6 today. Got Trey and Blake here with me. What's going on today, boys?
What up? First daytime pod. Let's go. Maybe that flips our luck.
Yeah. I'm not exhausted for the first one. I don't have to get up in like 4 hours.
Yeah.
I don't have bags under my eyes. This is different.
Might have to switch it up from moving forward. Let's just dive right into it. We were talking a little bit about some themes of the week, just like high level stuff. What are some of the things that are like jumping to you guys before we dive into the games?
So for me, I think I'm looking at a lot of one-sided blowouts. So it's going to be a lot of negative game script for some teams and very positive game scripts for others. So it just depends on how you feel about those teams. For example, Green Bay, Cincinnati, Green Bay's projected for a team total of 29.5 and Cincinnati's for 15. That's a pretty big discrepancy. So you would think, Josh Jacobs is probably going to get a good bit of run there. Green Bay's going to have that huge negative. And then however you feel about Cincinnati, maybe Jamar Chase plays, maybe he gets better, maybe he doesn't. We'll see. But same thing with the Rams, Baltimore, right? It's going to be really hard to pay up for Puka this week, in my opinion there. Yeah. And then the third one kind of just like, I think Indianapolis is going to beat the brakes off of Arizona. I think Arizona's just a team in a dumpster fire, and Arizona's as hot as can be. Not Arizona's. Indianapolis is as hot as can be right now. So that's what I'll be looking for, kind of game script narratives.
Yeah. I feel like last week, I feel like we collectively had a pretty good handle on the slate. This week, not so much. I don't know where I'm really leaning. I think last week was like a rare, it was the chalk week.
Yeah.
It's the week where all the chalk hit. And so I feel like this week, everyone's going to try to play the chalk. And I think there may be some ways to beat the chalk this week. Like people are going to be chasing the chalk. And obviously, it's chalk for a reason, right? Because usually a lot of those players do succeed. So it's about trying to find, what's the good chalk this week and then mixing in a few contrarian plays.
Yeah. I was listening to Levitan's solo pod on Monday, and he was saying how his cash game lineups have just been smashing this year because the chalk has been hitting what is probably at least half the weeks the chalk the cash game lineup teams have been winning. And he's on the opposite side of that, his GPP ROI is just through the ground. It's plummeted so far because when you play that way, there's just no way to sometimes you just have those weeks where it's just not going to work out.
That's why I'm in the green this year in GPPs. I've been playing cash lineups the whole time, right? They've been hitting. Yeah, I haven't hit huge. But I went away from chalk last week, and you know what? That was the biggest chalk week there was. Yeah. So, yeah.
I don't think the chalk projects as strong this week as it does.
Well, it's more spread out this week, right? There's no huge the Dallas and Jets game was just massive last week.
I think too, the pricing is getting a lot tighter. There's not a lot of smash plays at $3,000 or something like that. So the value is harder to find on slates. So
one thing I do want to call out too, I think it was on that same pod, that Levitan solo pod. Projections are getting so good across the board, right? ETR guys said their last 2 weeks of projections, so week 5 and week 4 this year, have been their most accurate yet. So that kind of just tells you just pick the optimal team, throw it in there. You're probably going to cash because, especially if it's a highly chalk week, like last week and this week, you're going to do really well.
I think I saw somebody on Twitter, I can't remember who it was, but they basically said that I think the number one team, if you just literally log into the solver and click optimize, I think the number one team that is spit out was a 150 something score, but the second team was over 200. And if you're trying to get any kind of leverage on anything and move pieces around, you're just not going to compete on weeks like that. So it is what it is. It's part of the process. Part of why we keep coming back and chasing the dragon on some of these on these GPPs. So with that being said, let's just jump in. Any games first off that we are going to avoid this week? Any that we're just completely Xing out?
Cleveland, Pittsburgh, probably. I think that one's going to be pretty gross on all.
I'm actually kind of into that game.
I like Quinshon in that game for sure. I think he's definitely valid.
I think if I play anything, it would definitely be on the Cleveland side. And yeah, I think Quinshon probably the safest. So I don't hate it, but I'm probably staying away. How much is he? 59?
Mm-hmm.
It's not terrible.
He's not carrying a ton of ownership compared to
I'd rather
some
play
of these
him
other dudes.
than
So
Javonte.
I definitely like him. Yeah, and I mean, if you want to get super gross, you could go to Dylan Gabriel. And again,
That's gross.
We've talked about this before. You're not looking for a 30-point week from this dude. You're only looking for like maybe 15 points at that price. So I mean,
that price, yeah, 15, 20 points in your.
Yeah, I mean,
unless the slate goes off for 200 like last week.
Right? Yeah, If then you're buried regardless. But yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm gonna X out that game, but yeah, I'm probably not gonna be super heavy weight on it. But I definitely like Quinshon in that game for sure.
Yeah, only 3 leg games this week too, and one of them is pretty gross for me. That's Tennessee and Vegas.
Yeah, it's another weird slate because they got 2 Monday night games and they've got an early international game. Is it in London this week, or is it somewhere weird?
London.
Yeah, so gross slate again. I think maybe not as gross as last week's slate, but yeah. That Titans Raiders game at first I was like, there's not going to be anything there for me. But we were talking about it real quick, and I do think that it could just be one of those like 2 bad teams get together and they just like score a ton of points.
So who does Cleveland? Isn't the Cleveland Pittsburgh a Week 17 preview? Don't they play?
Maybe. Oh yeah, I think you're right.
That's one of the turd bowls for Week 17. The best ball
I remember talking about how it was like one of the worst rated Week 17.
Yeah, because we thought Steelers had a defense.
Yeah, that's true. All right, well let's jump into the games that we're targeting then. That we're going to be heavier on. Which are the ones that are like standing out to y'all?
Feels like 3 weeks straight we've been in on the Dallas game environments, huh?
Why not?
I know.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous, but yeah, I mean they just continue to be games that turn into a shootout because Dallas doesn't have a great defense. So,
and Dak is playing at I'll say near MVP level. Like he's been putting that team on his back.
Yeah.
I mean,
he has to.
Yeah, he has to.
Yeah, and we were talking a little bit about it before we press record, but I think like we are always looking at the other quarterback that Dallas is facing to see if they could push that game to a shootout. And like Bryce is a little, not a comfortable click, but every now and then he has these 24, 25 point games. And so, if there's a setting where he can do it, maybe this is it. And I obviously like Dowdle again this week.
That's the only thing that makes me nervous. If they say I'm going to try to run Dowdle and Dowdle actually runs well against the Cowboys, that's my only scare in that game there.
Dowdle could have had a bigger week last week. I think he mentioned something about cramping.
I would cramp too. I can't run that far.
He broke off like 2 50-yarders. Like it was crazy.
Yeah, I don't know why. The Opto kept trying to give me him last week, and I was just like,
and I said no.
I thought the chalk was fragile, and he was such a smash. And now he's going against his old team, and so he'll be motivated. But yeah, that game's interesting. Seattle Jacksonville is interesting too. JSN is just on a tear.
Yeah.
And we saw a little bit of resurgence from Jacksonville with their last showing. Trevor looks pretty good, so
I mean, how long do you think Jacksonville can keep up this this turnover rate that they've got going? And I mean, I was listening to some people that they were talking about. They were like, "Oh no, there's no way. This is like fraudulent. There's no way they can keep this up." And they did it against Patrick Mahomes and on Monday night. So like, I don't know. It's one of those things. It's like they keep showing it to you, and sometimes at some point you're gonna have to believe it, right? So maybe they are the team that we were hoping they would be, like a really good team.
Yeah.
So And I do think that BTJ and Trevor Lawrence kind of got a little bit going last week, and he had his best week, almost got a touchdown, but he was
He's definitely looking a little better now, right? He's not as shaky anymore.
And now they're missing Brenton Strange, so Travis Hunter,
their leading
Travis
pass
Hunter
catcher
too.
Yeah, Travis Hunter's a little interesting. I mean, he showed last week like how just much of a deep threat, insane playmaker he is on that deep catch that he had. So
about time.
They got some interesting pieces in that game for sure. I like the Bucks 49ers actually.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. Tampa's just so aggressive. They don't care who they're playing. They're just going to go pedal to the metal the whole time. So it'll be interesting to see what the 49ers defense can do versus them. Is this at home for Tampa or? Yes. So 49ers are coming across to Tampa. Mac Jones is playing again. I think Purdy's out another week, and then also Pearsall is out. So, but and I mean the Bucks are beat up too. Ibuka is the last man standing in that receiver core, so he might just be he might be creeping up into like that Puka territory where you just got to click him and close your eyes and not care about it. Because I remember people were talking about how he was a little fragile last week, and then out of nowhere, he just wanted like a monster week. Yeah, wish I was more on that game last week. Would have been a lot better of an outcome for my lineups.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that game. I will say last one to mention would be the Chargers Miami game. Yeah. I think the Chargers can really blow it up here and put some pressure on Miami. And then, Miami will hit some big plays. HN may hit some big plays. Darren Waller is just going insane this year, right? So they doubled his snap. They exactly doubled his snaps last week. So maybe they go into a little bit more, and he plays a real role. So
yeah. All right, let's dive into the positions as we usually do. Let's hop in right into quarterback. What are we thinking? Is it a small pool this week, or I feel like it's a little bit interesting. We don't have any of the big dogs on this one again. No Josh Allen, no Lamar. He's hurt.
Drake May's top 5, bro.
Hey, that's my guy. That's my guy.
Purdy's out.
Purdy's out. Yeah. So, no Hurts, even though, is he a big dog still? I don't know.
No.
Maybe
he looks so bad.
Maybe Jackson Dart is passing him up. No Jaden Daniels on this slate. So, Baker Mayfield is the top salary, is the most expensive quarterback. You guys have any interest in him, or are we going somewhere else?
Yeah, I mean, you have to have interest in Baker. This dude is playing unreal, right? Especially like when the game is on the line. I saw the Rams highlight, that drive that like revitalized his whole career.
Yeah.
And in 2 days, notice comes in, leads the Rams 98 yards. But yeah, so I'm in on Baker. I'm not interested in paying up for quarterback in DraftKings really.
Yeah.
So I usually just stay down. But yeah, I think him and Dak are easily like the two best plays on the slate. But I don't know if I'll be able to get there in price.
Stafford is interesting up here as the third most expensive. My only concerns is what can the Ravens do?
Right.
Is this going to be a game that's over?
Yeah.
Is this going to be a game that's over by halftime? Stafford's been playing so good. He's looked insane this year.
He's looked insane. The clone has been revitalized.
Stafford 2.0. I probably won't.
He looks like he's got a couple years left now.
He's my home league quarterback in our main fantasy league, but I don't think I'll go there on DraftKings this week.
It's also 6-point passing, so that helps.
That's true.
It's interesting because he's tied to Puka, but it's like, do you need to start with Puka this week? Because will Baltimore push this game to where Stafford has to air it out, right?
Right.
And I don't know. Well, I mean, I think they'll have no problem moving the ball. And Devontae Adams, well, we're in quarterbacks, so we should stick there. But Devontae Adams is getting so high of target rate in the red zone, especially compared to Puka. Like, I don't know. And then Kyron had 3 touchdowns last week, right? So
all I'll say is that whenever people are so far on one side of like the Ravens are one of the worst defenses in the league, maybe if not the worst.
They're atrocious.
Yeah. So whenever everybody's like, "Oh, this is absolutely the only way that this could play out," it always scares me a little bit. So,
like the Saints game after getting blown out, the Seahawks, they come in and they hold
they play
the Giants.
They play Buffalo tight,
and Buffalo and beat the Giants.
So I wouldn't be surprised if Stafford comes out and like looks a little bit like disappointing compared to like where everybody's expectations are for this game. But yeah, I think obviously the Rams handled this one pretty easily, but I just don't know if you have confidence in the pieces on that Ram side, just because you don't know how much they're going to be needed to do, so.
Yeah. I mean, here are the QBs I have checked into my player pool: Mayfield, Lawrence, Dak, Bryce Young, Justin Herbert, Rattler, and Stafford.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anybody else that like we're overlooking here? Like, because I feel like some of these gross QB, like last week, Jake Browning was optimal, right? With Chase. So, like, are we going to Cooper Rush, Dylan Gabriel, like Tua, Aaron Rodgers? Like,
if I dip down that gross pool, it's going to be Spencer Rattler if Christian Gonzalez is out, right? And maybe Cam Ward.
I really like Rattler this week, like a lot, actually. But like maybe flag plant.
All right.
I think Justin Herbert could be interesting. Just we kind of mentioned that Dolphins game. Their running backs, rest in peace for the next 4 weeks to Omari and Hampton, unfortunately. It's funny, real quick. I know we're going to touch on running backs in a second, but I saw that Najee Harris didn't miss a game the entire time he was in Pittsburgh. As soon as he touches down in LA, he like has a freak eye injury and misses the season. And then Omarion Hampton didn't miss a game his entire time in college. And as soon as he hits the NFL with the Chargers, within 4 weeks, he's on the injury reserve. So, man, something in the water over there in LA. But I think Herbert's just going to be forced to throw the ball more than he has been with, like, because it's Haskins and Vidal. Like, I mean, do they lean on that, or do they just like lean into Herbert and his rushing ability too? So I think he's an interesting play.
Yeah, I don't have a favorite really right now. I think, if Bryce Young if that ownership stays where it's at, like 7.3 is what they have projected right now, 4,800. I think Dallas is really going to push him. And if I'm Dallas, my number one play is make Bryce Young throw the ball. Right. Yeah. So I'm just going to say everything against the run. It's like, hey, if you're going to beat us through the air, then okay.
Let's talk about this real quick, because we were talking about it last week, and it felt good when we got off of Fields for like 3 quarters, and then out of nowhere he goes nuts, and then he puts up a 30-pointer, right? So like, is that a case where, like, does Bryce Young have that? I mean, Bryce Young already has a 30-pointer this year in garbage time against the Cardinals. I could see that playing out this week again if either way. Like, maybe Bryce Young, they come out, the Panthers come out and they just like put it to Dallas's defense. I could see that. It's not likely, but I could definitely see it. But also could just see Dak and the Cowboys jumping out to like a crazy lead early and then taking their foot off the gas, and then, like last week, here comes Bryce Young in the fourth quarter, the same way Justin Fields did, and he puts up a 25-point game or something like that. So,
well, yeah, that's the bad QB on a bad team story, right? Like that. Right. That's all you're ever hoping for. The Justin Fields, or like you said, the what game was Bryce Young? He threw the ball 55 times. The Arizona Cardinals game, right? I mean, that's all you're ever hoping for in these. Whenever you go for people like that, it's just kind of that game script favors you and. They throw the ball. The more you throw the ball, the more plays you're going to have, because it stops the clock on incomplete passes.
Yeah.
That's why I'd be a buyer.
Y'all want to do flag plants?
Let's do it.
Or is there anybody else y'all want to discuss before we get there?
No, I'm just kind of like into the middle range. I really like the higher range better, but I haven't built any lineups yet this week, really. So we'll see how that comes out.
All right, Trey, you want to go first?
No. You guys,
Kevin, Kevin, kick us off this week.
I'll go first. I think I'm going to flag plant Bryce. I think that we're just going to keep going back to this well of whoever's playing Dallas, we're going to target. Their defense is so bad, and it felt good to get off of Justin Fields last week, but then he put it together. So I feel like that could be the case this week again. And as soon as Bryce Young gets his obligatory disgusting turnover out the way, or two, he's usually been a baller this year. So I know last week it didn't really play out because Rico Dowdle was taking away a lot of the fantasy production. But yeah, I think I'm going to go back to the well with Bryce this week again. It feels gross. Like 3 of the 7 weeks this year so far, I've had a Bryce lineup. First 2 didn't really play out. I mean, last week was okay because I had a Bryce and a Dowdle lineup, and that kind of worked out because Dowdle carried the load on that one. But hoping that Bryce can get a few of those touchdowns, for himself this week. So yeah, that's where I'm going to go.
Go ahead, Blake.
All right, so I'm kind of torn between, I'll say, 2 guys, Mac Jones and Dak, but I'm really, 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 I think, going to try to go to Dak this week. I think he's just on a mission this year, and he's just going to put up another 30-point game, just 3 touchdowns.
I like Dak as well, so I like this game basically.
Yeah,
either one.
Yeah, I don't know how you can't like Dak, right? He's even in the games where he hasn't scored well, which has only been 1 against Chicago. He's played really well. Well, maybe that one wasn't great, but
I mean,
that wasn't really all his fault.
We talked about this during the best ball season. If he's healthy, he's a top 6, top 5 fantasy producer every year. Like, he is just one of those dudes that you can just rely on, and as long as he stays healthy, he's a producer. And I don't know why we always forget about it going into every season. And then we're like surprised by it 5 or 6 weeks into the season. But yeah, and he's been without CD. And, I like him a lot.
I will say honorable mention, if I have an extra $100, I'll probably go up to Baker, though, because Baker's got absolutely nothing, and he's going to put the team on his back again and just go off.
That's a vibes
But Dak is, that would be a vibes-based play. Yeah, but Dak, if you're looking for a flag plan, who's going to be the best QB on the slate, in my opinion, it's Dak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think this is the position to go contrarian this week. Like as I look at my player pool and I'm like, who stands out? Like Jordan Love kind of stands out, but like
Q for the chalk play.
Is he gonna be the guy you need? Because is Cincinnati gonna push that game to shootout? Probably not. Like, I want to like Drake May, but he's the chalkiest, and who do I attach him to? I don't know. Like Diggs, is that real?
You don't need to attach him to anybody.
So I'm gonna go with our hometown guy, Spencer Rattler. One of these weeks, man, Olave's got a hit. I feel better about attaching Rattler to Olave than I do May with Diggs a little bit.
Is Christian Gonzalez out? I know he was questionable.
No, he's questionable right now.
Okay.
I thought I saw that he was doubtful to play, but I could be wrong.
I saw that he was downgraded. I didn't know if they had I didn't know if it was official, if he was in or out, but yeah. I mean, he looked good last week, man. He looked good.
He's making these throws. He's got this scramble ability. And sometimes Kellen he'll call these design QB runs. I think with Taysom back, he's kind of like inverse correlated with Rattler, but I could see it maybe.
If he starts letting that thing rip to Shaheed once or twice a game, like last week,
yeah.
Man, I don't know. Like it could happen. Like he could be up there. I mean, he's been quietly one of the better quarterbacks in the league. I know it hasn't really translated to wins or like a ton of production, but he's not going out there and throwing 5 picks in a game or something like that.
He's been remember when Alex Smith was really peaking in his career, towards the end, right before Mahomes? That's where Rattler is, pretty much, right? He's like a really good game manager right now.
Yeah. So I'm with it. I like that one a lot. Let's dive into running backs. What are we thinking? Man, Jonathan Taylor up at 8,500. Christian McCaffrey right behind him at 8,400. And then there's pretty decent cliff down in price to HN at 78. So where are we going? Let me see it looks like Rashad White. So Bucky Irving was declared out. Rashad White's looking like he's the chalkiest at 6K. Was a smash play last week. Dowdle has creeped up in ownership to 23. He's also creeped up in price. Not a ton of super value on this running back slate. So where are you guys leaning?
And nothing cheap. I think there's good value, but there's nothing cheap.
Nothing cheap.
No the only 5K play or in 5K. I guess there's multiple. You got Rico, Quinshawn, and then Michael Carter's gross at 53, in my opinion, this week. So under 6K, it's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty flat across the board.
Do you think it's a three? Do you think it's a 3 running back week?
Yeah. It's always 3 running backs. It's always a 3 running back week.
Yeah.
Especially the way these guys have been scoring this year, man. JT, we had multiple 30-point running backs last week. JT and Rico, and then there was a couple of big games. I think we're gonna have
a conversation about Javonte Williams. I think he's him. I think he is what we thought he was going to be in Denver.
He had a 30-point week last.
I took him in as a rookie because I'm always trying to get these rookies, and then he flamed out. He got hurt. I kept him.
He had a bad knee injury though.
Yeah, and then he just never became that guy that they thought he was going to become, and now he's kind of producing at that level.
I mean, you remember what the best ball community was saying about him? Oh, he's gross. No one wanted to click.
People were taking Jaden Blue.
Yeah. Miles Sanders, as a bet against him. And now
I got a lot of Jaden Blue. I'm not happy about it because it was the same price as Javonte.
Yeah, they were going around the same price. That's right.
Yeah, he is a best ball winner this week, this year.
This year, yeah, no doubt.
I mean,
I think we
should have seen it.
The fantasy footballers, and they did a redraft of the first 2 rounds. And
he's over Chase Brown. He's over all those second round guys.
Ibuka and Javonte were the 2 biggest risers into that range, and it's crazy to think. But I feel like he's a smash play this week, even though he is 3rd most chalkiest.
I really like all those guys there, right? In that 6,000 range, right? Yeah. So I think Trey brought Quinshawn earlier. You got my attention on him now. I think he's good. What is Javonte? Javonte's 64. That's not bad. I really like those guys in that range, especially when you look up JT at 8,500. I really like JT. His workload justifies it and everything. He's got a good matchup. 8,500 is going to be really hard to make a team around him. CMC, same thing at 8,400. The difference is with CMC, he's a top 10 wide receiver who gets 15 rushing touches a game.
He hasn't scored a touchdown yet.
Yeah, he has. He hasn't scored a rushing touchdown yet.
Okay, that's what it is.
There was a stat.
Yeah, he's got 3 receiving.
He's on such a pace this year, CMC, that he's the wide receiver 6 just with his receiving numbers.
And that's what I'm saying. You have to pay for him.
Yeah,
have to.
Let me ask you this, Blake. I don't know if you've seen any data around this, but what are your thoughts about playing 2 running backs from the same game, Javonte and Rico? Because you would think intuitively, if one running back's going off, that limits the opportunity for the other. But they're both chalk. It's a game environment. So, what are your thoughts on a Javonte Rico play?
It depends on the explosive plays of those guys, right? If you're talking Cam Scatterbo, right, who's not having 50-yard runs, 70-yard runs, the guy who's just getting 5, 10 yards every time, it's going to run the clock down pretty good.
Scoring 3 touchdowns.
yeah, scoring 3 touchdowns. But if it's a home run hitters, JT on one side and a Breece Hall on the other, Saquon on the other side, I think it makes more sense there. But you just got to be mindful of the number of plays. It's all it comes down to, really, right? So if they're not hitting home runs.
And these aren't like explosive guys, but they're good values this week. So that's why I'm curious, like, is that a
Well,
play?
if they're getting catches, I got another thing too, right? If they get a lot of catches, then that's also different. But if you're talking like a Rico Dowdle, who's not going to get a lot of catches, but he's going to get 20 touches versus let's say, who would be another one? Derrick Henry, right? Then it'd be like, I probably wouldn't want to go those guys unless their defense for those teams are just terrible, which they are.
I think one that I'll touch on real quick. I like Kyron this week. I think that he's leveraged off of the Puka like insane chalk. Even though Kyron does carry a little bit of ownership.
Kyron's, yeah.
But I guess my thought is, what if Puka just doesn't? They don't need Puka to do what he's done and go out and like get 150 yards for 10 catches and a touchdown. Like, what if they just don't need him to do that? What if Kyron is who they lean on? Just kind of like put this game away. It's a bad game. They're going across the country. It's early, right? So, 10 a.m. like start for them, like biologically or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I think that that's a smart, sharp play, because I think a lot of people are going to be flocking to obviously Puka, and for good reason. He's not a bad play, obviously, but just to get a little bit of leverage off of Puka.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Because like if Puka fails, you would think that Kyron would be the beneficiary of that, or the lead beneficiary of that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Puka had a 25-point game last week, and then Kyron had a 3-touchdown game. So, like, the offense could just go off, and that's kind of like. So last week in DFS, I pivoted to Stroud.
San Francisco was pushing them though. So will Baltimore push them is the question.
Well, that's what I'm going in this next point. And look at Charlotte in the background here. So, and that just lost. Oh yeah, Stroud with the Ravens here. So I pivoted to Stroud because I knew they don't really have a great run game, and they're just going to tear the Ravens up. And you know, it worked out. What they put up like 40 points last week. Stroud had 4 touchdowns. He almost had another one. Like, if they're going to score points, they're going to score points, but they just got to do it early. If it's in the first 3 quarters, you think they can like really dominate.
True.
Sometimes you got to lean into those games, right? That's like, think of the Jared Goff games where he's just blown up. 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns with his stuff. So yeah, it's just about scoring early. And if you know the team's going to score, why would you not want players from that team?
True.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Anybody we want to touch on before we hop into
yeah, we gotta do flag plants and all. Oh yeah.
A couple more mentions. Usually when we see like RB injuries, the backups are pretty chalk. Kamani Vidal and Hassan Haskins are getting no ownership this week against a Miami defense.
Against a good matchup, yeah.
I
think it's because
like you said, it's ambiguous. Going back to the ambiguous, like which is the one that's gonna hit.
Right, but it's like a Michael Carter last week. Like,
right,
no one wanted to play him, and he ended up being optimal. And so,
they got both those guys at 5,000.
Yeah, and 0.25% ownership. Like, that's another guy. Kamara. I mean, like Olave leverage less than 1% owns.
Yeah.
And
it's
then
just the splits between him and
Kendra
are getting concerning.
For the Kamara side, for sure. I think last week was the first time that Kendra had more carries than Kamara, and his snap percentages have gone, or they're like inching up each week. So I think that they are leaning into keeping Kamara healthy, getting him involved, but not like workhorse, trying to keep him healthy throughout the whole year. And I think I want to say, I don't know if it's a quote, but I saw somebody say that he's feeling the best that he's felt in a long time because of it. So I don't know.
Well, let's see it on the field then, Kamara. Dang. Yeah, I can't do Kamara because I think there's just other plays around that same price that are better, right? Like, I would much rather go to a Chase Brown, a Jalen Warren. Yeah, well, over Kamara, like,
yeah.
Chase Brown's at least getting he got 8 targets last game.
True.
Joe Flacco's going to check down. So, and then, Quinshawn's only what, 200 more? Yeah. $200 more. Like, I'm not going Kamara.
Kamara got 6. I just always think with him, as he gets cheaper and cheaper, the the reception potential or the pass volume to him could be interesting. So,
yeah, I
don't
will
know.
say I think I'm out on Achan, right? At the price, he just hasn't been producing much on the field. Like his workload's been great. 7 targets a game is what's keeping him afloat, but he hasn't been putting up many yards. He's only got Well, he's got 3 receiving touchdowns, just like McCaffrey, but it's just, he's not getting a lot of yards. I don't know. He hasn't been an exciting play. So at 7,800, I think I'm out on him this week. Genty is actually kind of interesting to me.
I like Genty.
Kevin's been on GT, yeah.
Yeah, the Genty, and then I don't know how to feel about Rashad White, to be honest. What are y'all thoughts there?
Yeah.
Because that offense is going to score.
They have nobody there. Like
I don't like
offense is
playing
going
running
to
backs
score.
against Fred Warner, man.
I know. Bucky's gone. Mike Evans is out. Godwin, who knows? He's out, but he might be like. I know people were calling for like Godwin to be like to eat into Ibuka, and look, we can just put that to bed, right? I mean, Ibuka is here to stay. But in regards to Rashad White, he feels bad when you don't have him, and he goes off. So I don't know. I played against him in a lot of like season long fantasy last week, and it didn't feel good to be on the opposite side. And Tampa's offense is so aggressive. I definitely think that he's viable, but he's definitely the chalkiest on the board, right?
Is he leading? I didn't even see that. Yeah, 35 over here.
Yeah. So, and he probably comes in higher than that. I would think in like the small
35. I think I'd be off of that. Like I said, I think I like the Dowdle, who's less ownership. I like Quinshawn, who's way less ownership there.
Let's hop into flag plans. I'll go first.
One last name real quick, just right. A yes or no. Derrick Henry at 6,200.
That's my flag plan.
All right. Well, there we go. Right, going to flag plans. Sell us, Trey. Sell us on Derrick Henry.
So let me throw out a couple of interesting stats. The Baltimore Ravens are 1-4. The betting public still sees them as the favorites to win the division. And they're the underdog this week.
That is crazy.
They're saying they're going to lose this week and go to 1-5, and they're still the betting favorite to win the position. So they're decimated with injuries. Obviously, they don't have Lamar. If we want to get to Puka, if we think that game pushes, I don't think it's going to be Cooper Rush in the passing game. I think it's going to be big dog Derrick Henry. This is the cheapest he's been in well over a year and a half, 6,200. He's been comfortably in the 8Ks before. I know he hasn't.
He's their only chance in this game.
Right. I know he hasn't done anything since week 1. But, sub 2% ownership, 6,200 big dog. Like,
I didn't run my data. I would love to see what the Rams are giving up to running backs.
I don't hate it. 1 week season's giving him a GPP value of, where is he at? 3.5, which is like top 8 on the slate.
Yeah, and I mean, the Rams are pretty stout against the run, but it's just like it's Derrick Henry. Like, if he breaks one, like, because again, we talked about like this week, are we as comfortable with the chalk as we have been in prior weeks? Like, I don't want to play Rashad White. You telling me I can get Derrick Henry for $200 more bucks?
Yeah,
and get 35% leverage on the field, or 65% leverage on the field, like.
As long as they don't pull him off because they're getting beat 30-0, right? And
he's the guy that I think like it's still a good bet to make because he could flip this slate at the position.
Yeah, because if at 6 p.m. on Sunday you're looking at the scores and he's like top scorer on the week, you wouldn't be like super shocked. I mean, maybe compared to like what he's been doing this year, but based on his history, like So
I don't think the Baltimore offensive line's beat up that bad either, right? I mean, they have a good offensive line, or decent.
I just do not like Cooper Rush, and I just think like
that's what I'm saying. Protect him, so run the freaking ball. Keep the ball out of Stafford's hands.
If we know that the Ravens still have aspirations to like contend this year, and they're not punting, like this has got to be the dude that they go try to get a win with this week. And I just feel like Henry's interesting.
I actually don't hate that, and I actually really like it.
Yeah.
That's why I brought him up, because I don't think it's a terrible play. I love betting on the bounce back of teams, like just like the Saints against the Giants, right? Like, oh, hey, the Saints are like coming off, the Bills, right? We got blown out against Seattle like terribly. Then the Bills are like 16-point favorites, and we played them pretty close. I love betting on bounce backs like that because once it's the top 1%, like 1% of the 1% of athletes, like they're all still really good and really competitive. So I do like to bet on the bounce back there.
Yeah, I really, really like this play the more I think about it.
Kevin?
Yeah, I'll go next. Mine is going to be my guy Josh Jacobs. Elite matchup, Cincinnati. I mean, he's got a shot to score like 2-3 touchdowns this week. You know, I think that like the fact that there isn't like an alpha receiver in Green Bay yet leads them to just kind of like just by default give it to Josh Jacobs, and he's just been a touchdown machine, man. I think he's on some type of streak where he scored like one for like the last like 10 or 12 games that they played or something like that. So a little bit pricier. He is at, what is he at? 7,300. So top 4 price. Little bit of leverage off of like the massively owned dudes up at the top ownership, but he is still carrying some ownership. But yeah, I think he is my favorite play this week. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna go.
Like it. Yeah. Don't really have much to say except yes, I agree. He should be
fresh coming off a bye too.
Yeah, they're coming off a bye.
He's due.
He just came off a 2 or 3 touchdown week the last time they played.
Yeah, he's behind one of the best offensive lines, going against a terrible defensive team, right? They're favored by 15 points, so game script's in his favor. Like, he should be the chalkiest play, in my opinion, but he's not for whatever reason. So I really like, I would flag plant him as well. But since I can't flag plant him, or I mean, I can, but I'm going to go a little different way and go CMC. He's not the most owned player on the slate. He is expensive at 8,400, but Trey said it earlier. This guy's been a top 10 wide receiver. And then he gets, 12, 15 touches on the ground after that. Sometimes he had like 20, I think last week. Guy's just, he's the entire offense, beyond the entire offense on this team. So the Bucs are going to score. There's no doubt about it. And McCaffrey's just going to have to do his thing, and his workload, he's going to get 7, 8, 9 catches. So that's a pretty solid floor for him right there. So you can't miss. You need him in your lineup, especially the way these tournaments been playing this year.
Yeah, I like it. Let's move on to wide receiver. Starting at the top, Puka. He's creeping up to 8,700. We kind of have touched on it a little bit throughout the show. Is he a guy that we're jamming in? How do we feel about it?
I don't think so this week.
Like, his floor is just so safe. But like, because like there's been weeks prior where we like start with CMC Puka as a building block. This week, I think I'm going to try to like back my way into them. Like, if I feel any other positions I've got room for Puka, sure. But like, I just don't know. Like I just flag planted Derrick Henry. So if he goes nuclear and the Rams are forced to, like, I like that correlation, that mini correlation. But yeah, I mean, 8,700, like it's more likely, like the 80% outcome with him is that he scores like 24 points. The 20% outcome is he gets the 40 piece that you need. So it's like, if he scores the 24 points, then you didn't need him, and you've already kind of got a little bit of leverage in your lineup, right? So yeah, he's tough to start with, but if I'm tinkering with lineups and I was like, oh, I got 8,700, like, just go plug him in, because the floor is so high.
Yeah. I just keep coming back to the fact that sorry, Blake, but I just keep coming back to the fact that how much is Baltimore going to like, how much are they going to need to use him? Like, could you see like Baltimore, like LA scoring a defensive touchdown early off of like a pick six or a fumble or a punt return or something like that? So like, I don't know. He feels kind of fragile to me this week, but not in the sense of like he's a bad, like he's not going to score and score.
You
like
could
20.
actually see a path for him failing for once,
right?
Right, and where you couldn't see that at all.
In like he's relative to his
12 points is failing at that price, right? 15 points is probably failing at that price.
Even 20, to be honest, like, because you could probably get that from other places and you don't carry 40% or more in ownership, right? So like at this price with the ownership, he probably needs to give you like a 40-point game for it to be worth it, right? Like I think.
Especially at 32% ownership, which is what he's projected for right now.
He'd probably be freaking like 40-50% in like some of these smaller field single entry stuff. So yeah.
I like I said, I'll try to jam him and CMC in a lineup and see what the projections kind of spit out. But I think it's going to be great. I don't think there's enough like solid values everywhere. Like there's no cheap running back value at all, right? So I think that's really going to hurt. And then tight ends are priced up, these years compared to others. So I don't think I would be able to do that.
It'll be really interesting to see if it's possible to do a CMC Puka and Igbuka lineup this week.
I don't think
there's enough value, but it'd be.
Yeah, I think the tight ends are too expensive now. You'd have to find a really, really bad one to punt, and yeah, I mean you could do it. There's people to make this happen, but yeah, I don't know. That's why we use all these projections to see what it comes out to be. But I think this week, I'm really, like I said, really going to trust the projections a little bit and try not to IKB it too much. So I'm going to choose like a couple people, like a couple of our flag plants for sure, and then see what we can build around that. But there's a bunch of games like we talked about Puka a lot. Like why not Devontae?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At 6,700, like he can easily put up that same 20, 30-point game this week. I mean, he's been averaging about 15 points a game, and he's 2,000 cheaper. So why not Devontae?
Yeah,
I think if you're playing at that price range, who is JSN is the third most expensive on the slate, about 1,100 behind Puka, carrying a little bit less ownership, but I mean, in my opinion, just as high of a ceiling as Puka. So if you want to get a little bit of leverage off of Puka, that's one way to do it too. Or like Blake said, with just playing the same game but the opposite side, with Devontae. So
JSN's been so good this year.
Who else are we like thinking up in like above 6K? Is there anybody up here that like feels like? I mean, we've talked about this game environment with Pickens. Again,
I think you have to say Igbuka, right? I think Igbuka's just he's the last man standing over there. He's just absolutely insane. And like I said, Baker's going to be feeding him. But the only other one in like that range, like I said, I'd consider Devontae at 6,700, but then Tet versus Dallas at 6K. Yeah. I think you said earlier, Kevin, like if it's not this week, it's never for my boy Tet, who I have a ton of everywhere.
Yeah, and I mean he hasn't been like he's looked really good. Like if you don't just box score watch, like just actually
been a lot
watch,
of DPI and
he's looked
stuff.
really good on the field. I mean they just haven't put it together. And I mean last week, Dowdle was just taking up.
He took over.
He just took over. But coming off of he has a 19-point game on his resume this year. But he's either going to give you like 10 or I think he could like give you like upwards of 25 to 30 if this is the week that him and Bryce kind of get on the same page and get into the end zone and stuff like that. So, do you have any interest in Pickens? I mean, I know that we have talked about this game environment. I feel like he's a good way. If you're going to stack, he feels like the obvious one.
I think the Jets did a good job of shutting him down last week. I think there was really a targeted effort to take him out. And of course, Javonte Williams was just going nuts as well, right? So they didn't really need him. And then game script got away from him. But I mean, he's a touchdown machine. He's averaging a touchdown a game. Definitely in on him for sure. 6,800 is a little hot though, I'd say.
Waddle's interesting to me.
That's what I was going to next.
Yeah. We saw what it looked like last week when he was the guy. Now, hopefully he can stay healthy. I don't know if y'all saw like the first catch that he had in the game, like nobody touched him. He went out of bounds and he just like crumpled to the ground. And he just got up and like he feels like the most fragile player in the league. But I know that we say that about a lot of people. But he's not fun to watch because he always feels like he's gonna get hurt every time anybody touches him. But yeah, he won 6 receptions for 110 and a touchdown last week, 26 points. So feels like there's nobody else other than him and Darren Waller in Miami, and Achan too, I guess. But
Achan's not really producing this year. The vibes are just down in Miami though, man. After you lose to Carolina, that's what I'm worried about. If this team just straight up quits.
Yeah. What about the mid pricing? Anything above? What do y'all want to say? Like 5K?
I mean,
5K to 6K?
Set the last one at 6K. Yeah. So we could throw in a 4,800 too there. Like I think Juwan, if he's in at 48, is money, right? I think they will absolutely need him, and that's such a good value for him right there.
I think he comes in Ice is Born after what he did last week.
I don't think Ice is Born.
Born is Mac Jones's guy though.
I think Born plays and probably produces pretty well, but I think if Juwan is actually healthy and he plays, I think he's going to put up numbers. I think
Calvin Ridley is interesting down at these prices.
Dude, the Raiders back end is just so bad.
Yeah, and he has a ton of air yards. And it sucks because I dropped him in our main league, and of course it was like the week that he decided to go nuts. Yeah, I don't know. I think that like we kind of mentioned earlier, that game could just be one of a game between two bad teams that decides to pop off and be like the game that you needed to have on the slate. So I think he's an interesting play.
Yeah. I will bring up Michael Pittman Jr. Touchdown machine. He's been super consistent this year. 5,400 is a good price for him. And, he could have a really good game this week against Arizona.
Some of that are interesting to me. The Chargers receivers are all priced around the same, and feels
I just can't pick one.
Right. It feels like
I like Ladd this week.
Yeah, it feels like this might be like one of those decision points where if you get the right one, it could mean a lot for your lineups. They're all carrying around the same ownership too. So you said you like Ladd this week, Trey?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have no running backs this week, really.
Yeah.
Their offensive line's hurt, so I don't expect like a good push to get even those no-name running backs. He's going to have to throw the ball a lot. And I think they've been the most pass-happy team in the NFL.
I feel like I'm definitely gonna one of my lineups is definitely going to be centered around like a game stack for this game, with maybe double stacking Herbert with two of these guys and bringing back Waddle, trying to figure that out.
That's just the scary part, man. Like, who do you pick?
Right. Or Waller, maybe Waller keeps up his insane pace, but it's one of those where you're probably going to feel wrong when you pick one of these dudes. So I don't know. It's crazy. They're all priced around the same amount. They're all carrying around the same ownership projections, and they're all carrying around the same point projections too. So it's like, thanks a lot, optimizers, for not.
It's got nothing for me. It's just going to be like if you have the $100 or not.
Right. Yeah.
Another guy I like in this range is Romeo Doubs.
Okay.
After what
we said they're going to score, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, Cincinnati defense. He's kind of just emerged as their guy. I know everybody wants it to be Golden.
3 touchdown game.
Yeah.
Golden's just not getting the snaps.
Six receptions, 3 of those were touchdowns, and only 58 yards. But I mean, you got 8 targets, so
yeah, it could be interesting. I mean, if that game, like, obviously, I think Josh Jacobs is the play there, but if they do pass the ball, I think he's going to be the target leader for them.
It'll be interesting to see what Flacco's able to do. Like he like historically has. I think I forget who it was I was listening, but I think they said that he historically like hits the ground running, doesn't take a ton of time to like.
I mean, he knows all the offenses in the league by now.
So it felt like they weren't necessarily like letting him just rip it in Cleveland. So I wonder if now that he's got like T and Chase, obviously, if they just let him go like play backyard football and rip the ball down the field. You know, I don't know if you heard Chase's comments. He seems to be on board.
Calls
with
plays faster.
Calls the plays fast.
Yeah. So
he's like, oh man, the guy knows the offense.
Yeah. What was the quote? He said something about, he was like, thanks to the organization for trying to make this work or something like that. And you know,
I didn't hear that one.
The timeline of Burrow is interesting because I think he could technically be back by like week 16, week 17. So like, do you force him back? Yeah. Do you try if they're in the mix again? I don't know. Like, it's crazy in that division. Like Trey said, they're still project, or like the betting favorite to win it is Baltimore,
Still
which
Baltimore.
just shows like how wide open.
He's going to 1-5.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
and they're, like I said, they're underdogs this week. So that they're accepting that they're probably going to go to 1-5 and they still pick them to win the division. So it's crazy.
I know we're down here, but that I do have, we didn't mention Chase earlier. I do have some interest in Chase up at the top just because, crazily enough, he's only carrying 4 or 5% projected ownership. I mean, maybe that's just like some of the questions about what Flacco is going to bring to the offense, obviously, but Chase at 5% ownership, man, I don't know. That's a smash in my opinion.
Yes.
So
I mean, he did it last week. Like,
right. I
Dallas
feel like this is deja vu from last week. We're talking about the same thing.
Dallas tore him up tore up Green Bay.
Yeah, so we can go back to the mid to that mid tier, but I just wanted to mention
he is interesting at that. At that, I will say. Let's go to the cheap ones. Actually, I think there's a lot of interesting cheap plays this week. What we're
talking about, sub 5K, right? Or 4,800, sub 4,800.
Yeah, sub that. I think there's a lot of interesting names. I think Ivy Manor is interesting this week at 3,900. I think, you talked about Dobbs. I think Wicks can be interesting. You got
Shaheed. I feel like we saw him last week. He's always a threat, and especially if Christian Gonzalez sits. That, to me, if Christian Gonzalez sits, I feel like Olave and Rashid are like massive smashes. But I think Olave's carrying a pretty decent chunk of ownership this week. He's carrying 19. So Shaheed's some leverage off of Olave. Shaheed's down at like 6% ownership. So I like Shaheed down here.
So you want to get Trey hyped up here? I'm hearing it's Travis Hunter week.
I don't hate it.
Is that true, Trey?
Are the streets saying?
The streets are saying it's Travis Hunter week. Yeah.
Some are saying.
I
mean, Strange is on IR. Who else is there? I mean, I know,
Parker.
We were drafting Parker Washington all summer, but and De'Ami Brown, I know got a few targets last week, but I mean, we saw what he can do, man. I just wish that he, I wish that he got a little bit more targets out of this, but it could be the week.
He's a very interesting way to play into the JSN. I could kind of see the Trevor Lawrence with BTJ JSN be the way that like people try to play this game, but I think dropping to Travis instead of with JSN with Trevor and then getting some of these ancillary pieces feels really, really interesting.
At 3% ownership, 4,700. Yeah, I mean, at some point, I feel like this dude is too good. At some point, he's going to have one of those games that you look and you're like, damn, I wish I was.
It felt like he kind of got a little confidence in his game last week, right? Yeah. He made that one amazing catch. It felt like that.
They're kind of good, man. Like, they're 4-1.
That was a big win.
Yeah, huge win. And the way that they won it, too. Like, with the pick six on Mahomes, and then, like, And then Trevor, did y'all see? Somebody was saying that's what like a newborn baby horse, like if they were scoring a touchdown, that's what it would look like, with the way Trevor like fell down and he fell down again, and then he got up and like he's like just like running on ice, and like it was the most like heart like roller coaster of emotion of a last play.
I saw him
for
putting like the
Jags fans.
Chumbawamba, I get knocked down music to it, and all
was
kinds
funny.
of stuff. Yeah. Chris Jones was terrible in that play. He just straight up quit. But yeah, I mean, I think this is why you're talking about like you can really jam in a lot of studs, Trey, because I mean, Travis Hunter at 4,700, you're going to need cheaper than that. But still, you got, I mentioned Ayu Manor. Oh man, there's somebody else right in there, right? Like Sterling Shepard could be a really good one to me this week, right? Isaiah Bond sounds kind of gross, but if you look at his target totals, this guy's been earning targets. And Cedric Tillman's out, so he's been in that Cedric Tillman role. He just hasn't produced anything there. So if you're looking for shots in the dark, I think that's a pretty good one.
Jalen Coker's back this week.
Coker is that? Where is he at in price? I don't even see him.
He's not coming up for me.
Yeah, 42. 4,200. Zero.
Yeah, they might not have him. They might not have him projected as in.
Season has him at 8.14 projected points, 0% ownership, a ceiling of 14. I mean, I don't know, man. We were hyping him up all summer. He's definitely a forgotten man for sure.
I think I got to see it first, but yeah. I mean, Liggett had a pretty good touchdown last week.
What about Ryan Flournoy? Flournoy?
I think it's Flournoy. Yeah. I mean, he balled out last week. I think Jalen Tolbert's just nothing.
Nowheres. Yeah.
Yeah. So
21 points.
Yeah.
114 yards on 9 targets.
That's what I'm saying. I think they like focused so much on Pickens. Like he was just free.
He had 2 rushing attempts. Yeah. I mean, 3,600. I don't know.
So this is why, yeah, and I think J.C. Horn's going to be on Pickens mainly, right? I think they're going to try to put that good matchup on us. So somebody's going to be free.
We talked about this game environment feeling like one of those that you're going to want to be on. So
yeah. So it's like I said, there's a lot.
Yeah. Like you mentioned about the pricing, just there are guys down here that if you wanted to jam those studs in, I know that's what you were probably about to say.
Yeah. So like, even if you can go down you can tell me a story about Tej Johnson, right? He kind of spiked last week against Seattle, and we mentioned it. There's nobody in Tampa Bay right now.
Yeah. All right. Want to move on to flag plants?
Yeah. Let's move on here.
We want to do the 3 like we've been doing? Or do we want to just do 1?
Yeah, we could do that. That's fine.
All right, now Trey, don't be like honorable mention, because there's not a ton of people in each of these tiers. We got to each stick to 1.
Oh man, okay.
Who wants to go first?
I don't have my 3 yet.
Okay, I'll go first.
All right, go ahead.
I'm gonna start at the top. I think Chase. I'm a flag plant Chase at the top. Anytime you can get Chase at sub 5% ownership or sub 8% ownership, I'm smashing it. I don't even care.
Last week
he's going to be in a single lineup. Like he just has to.
I think he's cheap, right?
He has to be. Yeah, and mid tier, so sub 6K. I think I'm going to go with who is down here. Let's go at Ridley. I'm a flag plant Ridley. In this kind of weird game, I feel like not a lot of people are going to be on this game. I think a lot of people are going to be in a wait and see approach to Ridley. Was it a fluke last game? Was it garbage time? Maybe. But hey, maybe this whole game could be garbage time. So yeah, I want to go there. And then for my super cheap, let's go to Coker. I'm going to go Coker.
Keds Unite.
Cokeheads Unite. This is great for the Cokeheads. Yeah, I think first game back, they're going to want to make a statement with him. I think he helps this offense, obviously, and obviously more than Liggett. So, yeah, and we want to be parts of this game. So, yeah. So my 3 are Chase. Who was the second one?
Calvin Ridley.
Oh, Calvin Ridley.
Yeah,
and
Ridley.
Jalen Coker. Yeah.
And you
I'll
really
go-
believe in him.
Yeah, really
I'll-
believe in him.
I'll go next. My top tier spinned up is going to be Devontae Adams. He's a guy in terms of like that top projection tier that has the lowest ownership, and I just think he like could easily get you a score that you need. My mid tier guy is going to be Ladd. I think he started to come alive last week, and against Miami, I really like him to just get a bunch of targets. And then my cheap guy, I guess he still fits here, but Rashid Shaheed as a guy to attach to my Rattler flag plant. Another Sheed bomb is coming, baby.
I feel like if that's a great way to play it, because if Rattler does go off, it likely means that it was a Sheed bomb that took him there, because obviously Olave's not bringing Rattler, or like Rattler's not bringing Olave with him right now. So
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I don't hate that one. So I think for my spend up, I think the theme is just I'm gonna have to go cheap. I would love to be all in on Egbuka this one, but I think I'm gonna have to play it cheaper this week, and so it's going to be Tet. I think the only way this game becomes viable really is if Carolina can keep up scoring, and I think they're really going to need Tet to make some plays this week. And if it's not, it's do or die for one of my biggest best ball bags, or just biggest bags in general across everything. I got them in all the home leagues, everywhere. Yeah. So, this is me making a last stand here with Tet. I think the mid range guy who's my favorite is probably Michael Pittman Jr. If you, I don't know, Juwan Jennings is on the cusp here, right? So, but I think Michael Pittman for that mid range, he's just been a touchdown monster and very consistent. And so I'm going to keep riding that. But for the cheap ones, I think if I go cheap, I'm going to go really cheap. And so I do like the Flournoy play there. Nice. Against Carolina, because I'm just going to be trying to get pieces of that game, and I think J.C. Horn's going to be all over Pickens.
Yeah, and I feel like that'd be a good leverage play off of Pickens too, like if you're stacking him with Dak. And because I'm sure we'll talk about tight ends next. I'm sure your like main stacking partner with Dak probably would be Ferguson. So if you want to double stack him with Flournoy, I feel like that's a way to get a little different there too. So let's just dive into tight ends real quick. Feels a little bit better than it has, maybe, because I don't know, maybe we got more viable tight ends on this slate.
They're so expensive this year, man.
That's true. They are pricey. So we've got Kraft on this slate, which I feel like he's been on these island games for like the last few weeks. So but how do you guys feel about any of these spinned up tight ends? Are we going cheap with like somebody like Otten or Fannin, or down with Juwan Johnson, who seems really cheap this week? What are you guys thinking?
I actually think so. If Kyler plays, I'm more into Marv. If it's who's the backup, Brissett. If it's Brissett, I'm kind of into McBride.
Okay.
In terms of like this Arizona thing, but man, McBride has to have a nuclear game at some point. He's been getting these like annoying like 12-point games. It's just like, I need you to be worth all of the third round picks I have invested in you in best ball.
He's getting a ton of targets, man. He's getting 9, 7, 8, 11, 7 targets. It's just not adding up to a lot, and then he's only got 1 touchdown on the year. So but tight ends have just been tough, like in general. Like you get these random guys that have blow ups like AJ Barner. I know some people might say that that's not a random, but I think it is.
Well, so let me ask you this: is there any tight end you want to play more right now than Jake Ferguson?
Maybe Kraft. But then again, he hasn't done what Ferguson's done. He's only had like one massive game. Ferguson has been really good all and every week. Tyler Warren has been okay to an extent, but
he's just not so much needed. And Jonathan Taylor is just he's the engine in the offense.
Darren Waller is like, I think I saw somebody say that he was leading in points per game, which makes a lot of sense because he's only got 2 games played and he scored 17 and 18 points. He just he looks really good. People say that like he's looked like what he used to look like after like taking 2 years off. So I don't know. It's tight end is so tough because like you said, like they're expensive. And then any of these like spin down tight ends like Jawan, he would look so good for so long or for like through 3 weeks, and then he's just been a nothing burger the last 2 weeks. Like people are obviously going away from him because of that, so he's carrying less ownership. But
so to me, tight end's actually kind of easy this week, right? I can't spend $5,300 on Jake Ferguson because I'm spending that on wide receivers. I'm not even trying to spend that on wide receivers, probably, to be honest, this week. So he's just priced out, which means Trey McBride's priced out. Tyler Warren. So it's always like inside of this position I'm looking at. And also whenever you get into these 4,900, 4,800 guys, you're comparing them to, like we talked about, Juwan Jennings, right? Rashid Shaheed, all these other guys who could actually blow up for 30-point games. That's not happening with any of these guys, really. So I'm pretty much out on all the high end guys. The only one I would consider is Tucker Kraft because the Bengals are giving up the most points to tight ends, like by far. And he is Jordan Love's favorite, receiver right now. So
the most consistent receiver, I would say.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Just had 3 touchdowns, so I don't know.
Well, Warren's been not Warren. Kraft's been like yards after catch monster, right? And he's been that his whole career, and I think the Bengals are really bad with missed tackles too. So he's the only one. If I have a lot of money, I'll spend up on. But it starts at Waller to me. It's Waller, Jake Tongas, how he said Tongas, whatever his name is, and then it goes down to Njoku. Like that's my player pool, really. Those 4.
Any thoughts on Otten? Now that there is literally like he's like the number 2 receiver behind Egbuka over there right now.
Yeah, I think he runs the most snaps and routes of any tight end, or he's got to be top 2.
Last week 4 for 81 with a long of 27, 5 targets. So
he's out there. You can feel decent about him, but like, wouldn't you rather David Njoku for $100 more?
True.
Right?
Yeah, probably.
Against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's not great. They've given up a lot of points against receivers. I did pull up some defense first position from ETR, so it's not mine. But Pittsburgh Steelers they're in the green against tight ends, right? They're 2.3% more.
Where are the Saints?
Against tight ends?
What Hunter Henry? Neutral.
Yeah, dead zero.
I think the Hunter Henry is an interesting play if you want to have leverage off of the Diggs, like some of the Diggs chalk. Hunter Henry is carrying a little bit of ownership, but not like what like McBride and Warren are.
And that neutral fit is surprising when I saw that because it's like I feel like the Saints get decimated by tight ends, but like when I think about bringbacks to that Rattler stack, it's like Diggs, Travion, Ramondre, Hunter Henry kind of just feels like he's on par with all those guys, right? So like at a position where it needs some value.
And I want to kind of put an asterisk on last week's game because I feel like there was like a concerted effort for New England to go out and give and just funnel the ball to Diggs, in their revenge narrative against Buffalo. And then obviously he felt like a relief valve for Drake on a lot of those plays, but Hunter Henry has a game with 11 targets on his resume. Now it is an outlier because the other ones are like 3, 2, and 4. But week 1 he had an 8 target game. So I don't know. It's like what do you believe? Is this another game that he could potentially have a bigger role in?
I believe at $4,300, I would much rather put that money in a wide receiver. So I'm dropping down.
Yeah. I agree.
I think it's that simple.
I think Waller to me feels, which is crazy to say, feels the best.
I think he's going to really need to step up this week too, because I think the Chargers are going to jump out to a good lead.
And I do think Juwan is an interesting play. I know that he's had like some down 2 weeks, but I don't know. I feel like
Taysom coming back and Moreau help. Man, I don't know. I think it's crowded now.
That's true. He's only got 4
He was the
targets.
only one healthy in the beginning.
That's true. Maybe so. Maybe not.
But Taysom at 3,000, right? Hey, what other tight end has a 46-point game on their resume?
That's true.
Facts.
Do we want to do flag plants here?
Yeah, let's knock it out.
Okay.
I can go first here.
Yeah, go first.
I think my number one guy with a close second, right, would be Waller, but number one is going to be Tonjes. I'm trying to go cheap everywhere. Tonjes he's proven to be a reliable target. Mac Jones threw at him 11 times last week, and then they're going against a pass funnel defense.
He's a really good pick.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was where I was going. I think. So go ahead, Kevin. I need to think of a backup.
I'm going to go with. God. I'm going to go with Ferguson. I'm going to spend up. I'm going to go with Ferguson. I think that in one of these, he is clear. He has clearly had the best tight end season by far on the year, and he's still not the highest projected ownership. He's still behind McBride, Warren, and Kraft. We want to keep getting in on these on this game environment. I know it doesn't feel great spending up for 5,300 for a tight end, but we've already talked about some really cheap wide receivers that we like that could give you some salary relief that way. I feel like this is one of those places where you can get the differentiation that you need in like picking a guy that is head and shoulders above some of these other like weaker plays. So yeah, I'm going to spend up. I'm going to flag plant Ferguson. Yeah, that's my final decision on that one.
ETR has him as the highest owned tight end, if you're curious. I mean, it's
really?
13.8. Warren's at 13.1.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's still not a ton of ownership for the guy who's been the tight end one. Right. You don't know. I can't believe this isn't a fan week for Trey.
It could be a fan week.
Were you not a believer in the AJ Barner breakout?
Well, so it sounded gross, but and I'm not great at tight end
or Waller. I mean, damn.
Points.
Like I said,
I'm gonna say. I think the AJ Barner thing is a little more real than people may think. Fuck it. I'm gonna say Taysom Hill.
Let's go.
I don't know. Like
there is a lot of smoke around like him being an integral part of this offense. Like Underhill's even saying it, was tweeting it, how he's going to be an important part last week, which led a lot of people to make that decision over some of the other, like over some better plays.
Yeah, and I just think he's like a really good way to attack this New England defense. Like
if Rattler does get hurt too,
yeah,
it'd
be crazy.
That's the thing. Like he only has tight end eligibility, so my mind tries to tell me he should be inversely correlated with Rattler, but I could see like Rattler scrambling for a touchdown.
They could put him on
throwing a goal line touchdown to Taysom, and then Taysom also just like from the 1 yard line, hammering one in too.
Push.
So, yeah, like that. There's some outcomes where I think it could be optimal to play them both. Like I want cheap pieces because there's a lot of studs I want to get to. Like Taysom makes that work, but I do like the Cleveland tight ends. This week too. So and obviously to Blake's point, Cincinnati just like bends over for tight ends. So Tucker Kraft is feels like a good play.
Nice. We'll say if you're looking to go really dumpster diving too, Hunter Long is down there at 2,500 for the Jaguars tight end. We're still talking about dumpster diving, right? I think Davis Allen is running the most snaps right now for tight ends on the Rams. If you're kind of looking to get into there, I think he's with Higbee out. So, I doubt I go that far down though.
All right, let's move on to defense. Let's kind of keep this short and sweet. Any thoughts here? We don't got a flag plan any, but are there any that you're leaning towards? Looks like, let's see who's the highest projected ownership. Packers against Cincy. That makes sense.
Man, I usually love trying to go to these cheap defenses, but the only cheap defense who I see can maybe be decent is the Dolphins. Chargers going cross country all the way to Miami. Miami defense is.
I think Tennessee could be interesting against Geno, who's thrown a ton of ton of picks.
I like the Raiders
2,400. Yeah, in the same game. Yeah. If they both get a turnover for a touchdown, I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah,
where is Indy? Yeah, man, this might have to be a kind of
the Rams are good. Yeah, Rams obviously against. Although that's like an inverse to what
I can't believe. Yeah, I can't believe they're not the highest owned or projected defense. Oh, they got the Packers. That makes sense, I guess. Steelers, 3,600 just doesn't make sense. Why are they so expensive?
I think for me, I would probably be leaning towards Titans just because for salary relief. I mean, also the Saints, they had an insane week last week. Playing at home again, right? So
we got some dudes. They got some dudes, man.
5 straight turnovers. Now, obviously, Drake May, you would think would be a little bit better than Jackson Dart, but he is kind of prone to like putting the ball in like not.
I don't think New England's offense is that good, to be honest. I don't think they have much talent.
Yeah,
it's Drake May, and that's it.
May only has he only has 2 picks on the year, and last week's game, it didn't really reflect it in the box score because all the touchdowns went to Ramondre, of course. But he looked like he was putting that ball in
he's the team
places. Yeah. So, but again, if he comes out and throws 2 picks and Ramondre has a fumble or 2, would you be surprised? So the Saints are interesting to me. Especially at that price. Which is not something that I would have said at the beginning of the year.
No, but they've come on. They've improved a lot. They've been stopping a lot of good running games, right?
And Chase Young is back this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
So interesting to see.
Is that actually a game changer there, though?
Yes.
I don't know. I would think so.
What?
On the line, yeah.
We need the pass rush from the edge, and I'm excited to see what we look like defensively with him because
we haven't seen him.
Granderson and Cam Jordan has been decent, but I really like the Saints secondary. Pete, Kool-Aid had a breakout game.
He's the guy we paid this year, right? So
Sanker looks like a freaking steal in the 3rd round.
Saints got some dudes on defense, and then Brandon Staley is doing a good job back there. So
like I said, I'm definitely interested at the Saints at 2,400 against the Patriots at home. Right. I think that's one of my favorite plays, but I think my most favorite is the Browns. I think for $100 more on the Saints, that Cleveland-Pittsburgh game is going to get nasty, and I think Myles Garrett's going to be in Aaron Rodgers' face the entire game.
That's interesting that they're
is reading my mind, man. I was going to talk about the Browns too.
I wonder why they're that cheap.
I have no clue. Why are they that cheap and the Steelers that expensive? The Steelers have been putting up points the last couple of weeks on defense, but they've played New England and Minnesota.
Yeah. And Arizona was the top projected defense last week, and now they're the bottom. So outside of Jonathan Taylor,
I think that they were because they were playing Tennessee. I think that had played a lot into why they were projected that high. But,
and their defense actually has been putting up some decent numbers, But I think I'll say it. I'm gonna flag plant the Browns here.
Okay. Yeah. I'm
Yeah, like
gonna
Raider-
leave it between the
Okay.
Saints and the Titans probably. I'm gonna go dumpster diving for a defense this week just because I'm gonna need salary relief from all the other expensive plays I'm planning to do. So yeah.
I think the Raiders being the third highest projected defense with 0% ownership is pretty interesting.
Especially against a Tennessee team that hasn't looked good at all, except for
Exactly.
like a quarter and a half versus Arizona. And I think a lot of that had to do with just the fact that Arizona was like imploding. And so yeah,
Yeah.
I like those two.
Raiders would be my spin up contrarian, but like I'm probably gonna have most of my lineups with either the Browns or maybe the Saints.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
So
nice. All right. Anything else that we want to touch on before we wrap this up?
Nah, I think I think we're pretty good. Like I said, just don't skewer me when I flag plant Dak, and then I play other teams or play other quarterbacks. I just don't think I'm going to get up to that price this week. I'm going to be spending up at running back probably because I think there's a lot of good plays.
Last week was funny because we were in our group chat. Blake was super excited that apparently I talked him off of Justin Fields he was excited about that fact for like the first half, and then the last quarter.
Well, the Justin Fields pivot was good. The Justin Fields pivot was good. I pivoted to Stroud, right? Stroud had, I think, the second best game. I was thinking between him and Darnold, and look, both of them were 1 and 2 QBs in the week.
Hits.
Yeah, so I made the right call there. It was just getting off all the other New York Jets. And
the Jets fade was right for like 75% of that game, of the first slate.
Well, it started when the Pickens touchdown happened. Yeah. That Pickens touchdown, just like that was a huge chalk hit, and then So dude, I was fine until then.
Kevin sent that text, and he's like, "Clearly, you guys haven't played Justin Fields and had him put up 4 points."
Yes.
And then like through 3 quarters, I was about to be like, Kevin, I feel your pain now, dude. Like I never want to do this again.
Dude,
I started him in all the home leagues.
Only time I spent a ton of fab on him in week 1 into week 2, played him, only got 4 points. Also, he was in like a ton of my lineups that week too, so I've spent a ton of money on him. Like, and then of course that was like the only week of the year that he has like been a bust. Every other game he's like been a week winner, 30 point or more. So
and I don't have a ton of him in best ball, but like he's a super fun quarterback to have in your best ball teams.
You get spike weeks.
Yeah, in best ball for sure. Yeah.
Until you get QB1,
you don't have to make that decision. Yeah.
Until he gets benched, man. He's solid.
Yeah. For sure.
All right, man. Well, I think we're gonna wrap this up. Yeah, I feel pretty good about this week. A little bit better than I did last week going into the slate. So
I have 4 lineups, and 3 of them have Spencer Rattler. It's a quarterback.
Yeah, right after Trey talks about hating Justin Fields, he's like, "Let me go to Spencer Rattler."
We were really putting our money where our mouth is with this fandom thing.
We're gonna win.
We'll see how we feel. Every time I bet on any of our teams, whether it be LSU, the Saints, I never feel good about it. So
I think my closing thought for this week here is, as we talked about everything, I really like this Tampa Bay San Francisco game.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's the late game to get to. I think like out of the 3.
Yeah.
Like if we do the late swap.
Yeah.
Like trying to plan for either getting a CMC, Buka.
There's a lot of these guys are so cheap and
yeah. Okay, man. Well, this is gonna be a good week. We'll see you guys next week. We are definitely doing the best ball review.
We gotta check these bags.
Yeah. Well, mine looks pretty good. Doing. I'm not gonna lie. So
I'm excited, dude.
Yeah,
I am excited, bro.
It'll be a fun show. I think we're gonna.
I've been
plan to do that
scrolling through Reddit because like people are posting their high scores. Anyone beating me at this point, and I'm like, I have like a few lineups that are beating some of these people that.
One of yours is stupid high.
You got an insane lineup.
I got like
but you do have 150 drafts, so I would hope so.
Yeah.
Shit.
That'll be a fun
so.
episode. So looking forward to that one next week. But yeah, man, we'll see you guys at the top of the leaderboards, hopefully. And if not, we'll see y'all next week to break it all down. So
For sure.
see you on the other side. Peace.